All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview where every single week I interview top real estate professionals, top entrepreneurs, and strip top badasses out there dominating their space. And today we got another amazing, epic guest here on the podcast. I'm so excited to share with all of you. But real quick, before we jump into this podcast, make sure to check out gsdmode.com for more additional free resources, more additional free training. And on there, I highly encourage you to schedule a 100% free 60-minute long Zoom strategy coaching call with me personally, where it's going to give us an hour together to do a deep dive into your business, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals are for your real estate business, what you're currently doing, what your biggest obstacles are, what your current situation is. And then based on that information, I'm going to map out my best recommended strategy to get you exactly from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. So if that's something that you're interested in, get 100% free, zero strings attached, just a way for me to help support you for all the support that you continue to give to this podcast. Go to gsdmode.com. You'll see a banner right at the top where you can schedule that. All right, let's jump on in to this epic GSD Mode podcast interview. All right, Kody, my man, welcome to GSD Mode podcast, my friend.
Josh, what's happening? Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, man, I'm stoked and honored to have you on, dude. I was talking with my good friend Dustin Runyon that I've known for years. He was telling me about you and just what you're doing, and I was like, dude, I gotta get him on the podcast. I'm like, Dustin, would you do an intro, man? I gotta get Kody on here, dude. So before we get into all the amazing things you're doing today, I always like to unpack our guest journeys that led him here in the first place. So yeah, like what did you do before you got into real estate? I know it's only been a couple of years, here in the industry for you, but like what did you do prior and what ultimately led you into real estate?
Okay. I love this question. So before I got into real estate, I was the store manager for the Albertsons here in Lake Havasu. I'd worked for Albertsons for 12 years. I worked in the Phoenix market, moved around store to store to store, and then went through the store director training program and told them that I would go anywhere they want me to go in Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, wherever. So I applied. I'd never been to Havasu before. I applied for Havasu. I'd previously had an interview the week prior with the same person. So he was like, he called me and he goes, "All right, you ready for your interview?" And I go, "Yeah." He said, "You have anything you want to add in the last interview we had?" I said, "No, nothing." He said, "All right, I'll call you back shortly." Got a call like an hour later. I'm like, "All right, you're going to Havasu." Never been here before. So I got to Lake Havasu, ran the store here for like 2.5 years. And that was to the point where I was at, the highest level you could be at the store. And I wanted to move up again. So I wanted to keep going and climbing that corporate ladder. And I applied for one spot to come back to the Phoenix market and be over like all 200 stores and like a lower entry level marketing position for them. And I didn't get an interview. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get shit. So I was ultimately pretty pissed at that. And that's what fueled me to get into real estate. I had some friends I have one friend, his name's Chad, super great guy. And I would work for him on my days off in Phoenix and flip houses for him. He's been real estate investing since he was 20 years old. And I always wanted to be like Chad, but I could never figure out how to be there. I was making like 120 grand a year at Albertsons. And I couldn't figure out how do you buy another house? How do you do this? How do you do that? And ultimately I needed a career that I made more money and had more access to these kind of deals to get into that. So I started real estate school. I took 6 months to get through real estate school because I was still running the store over there, working 60, 70 hours a week. And I went to go take my real estate test. And that's when I realized that I hadn't paid any attention during the 6 months of real estate school and just was basically on my phone when I'd go hit play on the real estate classes and courses. So failed the test 4 times, passed the real estate test, got through the state test first try after I finally studied enough and really learned the information. And that's when I joined Dustin's team. And the way that I found Dustin's team is through Havasu CrossFit. I joined the CrossFit gym about 2 years prior, been a member there now 4 years. And the guys there were telling me, you gotta join real estate. You can make 200 grand on the side and still run the store. You could do this. I'm like, this shit's unheard of. You guys are crazy. So I joined Dustin's team and I was going to do it part-time. I told him I'd come in after I got off at 5 o'clock. And then I would come on my days off on Thursdays and do open houses on Sundays. And I would sell real estate part-time. And he was like, "I don't really do this for anybody. And we don't do it for anybody now." But he's like, I'll try it for you. You seem like you work really, really hard. So I said, okay. So for the first 4 weeks I did it. And I realized that I would be much more successful if I was able to pull the plug at my other job and go all in here based on what I was seeing the other agents do, the environment from the outside. It honestly, I thought it was fake. And then I got in here, and the community and the culture here at Apex is just truly incredible and something that I've never been a part of. I thought I had a really great culture at Albertsons, and I was the one that led that culture. I had 140 employees, and I thought we were all pretty happy and everything was good. But over here, it's so amazing, and I wanted to get plugged into that culture. So I did 4 weeks part time. I think I got one deal pending during that time, and then I gave a 4 week notice at Albertsons. I started here full time August 1st of 2022, and I've ultimately never looked back since. And I've just continued to grow and grow and grow every single year, month over month, just by following the system. It's incredible.
Yep. Yeah. No, I love that, dude. So then, all right, man. So look, because the reality is there's a lot of new agents that jump into this industry that are part time. And I know that was short lived for you,
Yep.
but for those that maybe are forced to be in that situation for a little bit longer than you were, like,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give to them? What did you do to balance it? Because, like, dude, you had success during that time. You popped a deal in your first,
Mm-hmm.
being part time and balancing that. So, like, what did you do, and what advice would you give for those that are in that kind of situation with their life?
So I think when you're trying to make the transition leading up to that, you ultimately need to save as much money as you possibly can. I think the goal would be to get 6 months of expenses in the bank. I had some items that were ultimately toys, like jet skis, trailer. I got rid of all the toys, sold everything, and I put money in the bank where I knew that I would be good for like 6 months if I absolutely had to be, and pulled the plug on that and burnt the bridge. But if you're working towards that and you're trying to, put one foot in and one foot in, two areas, but you want to go all in on real estate is the ultimate goal. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to stay laser focused with your time on. Don't let your other job completely go if you need that. I think the best job to have as a part-time job when you're trying to get into real estate is a night job. Serving or bartending, I think, are great and can work for an extended period of time. If you're working something, like 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, I think that's going to be very, very, very difficult. And you're going to have to, as soon as your job is up at the 5 o'clock mark or whatever that looks like for you, you need to go pound the phones, and you need to be cold calling, you need to be door knocking, and you need to be reaching out to as many people as you possibly can to see if they want to buy or sell real estate. And that's how you're going to get your business started off the ground and just compound off of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what were you, I know that open house is a huge part of your business now. Is that kind of what you started out of the gate doing too?
Yeah, that's all I started in was. So my first, like, once I went full time, I would literally make 500 to 1,000 calls every single day in our Mojo auto dialer and just call people that lived in Lake Havasu, inviting them to the open house, asking them for, can I drop off a free home evaluation or home equity report or whatever that looks like to you, and setting as many appointments as I possibly could to connect with buyers and sellers. And then like all of the work leading up to the open house was what the really work was. And then you get to the open house, and then you might be able to pop a couple buyers because you meet these people that come in. But the pre-work for the open house is where the success really is.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I mean, if we fast forward, so like, okay, over the last 12 months, like you've closed 100 units,
Yep.
we're talking we're not, you're on a team. So I guess you have some help, probably with some admin help, and, but we're not talking like these are your numbers. These aren't the team numbers. These are your numbers. You doing 100 units in a year.
Yep. So right now, year to date, I've closed 182 units with the commercial and the residential deals that I sell. 92 of those being in Lake Havasu, and that I do have now. I have a full time assistant that's salaried that works underneath me, but he also sells his own deals too. So he's closed 15 in his first year in real estate. He's got the same story as me. Um, I pulled him out of Albertsons. He was one of my guys over there, and I got him through the real estate school to work for me. So it's freaking awesome. Um, but my day still looks just like it did in the beginning. It's a lot of lead generation, and just now it's more appointments than it was in the beginning. In the beginning, it was all lead generation and just fighting for those appointments. And now the appointments seem to be coming easier, but you can never stop lead generating. Um, as far as like super big business levers, I sent this to Dustin the other day on like deals this year that I've closed. I think you were kind of asking that. Um, So I've gotten roughly like 10 leads from social media, Facebook and Instagram. And I just hammer Facebook and Instagram, one post a day, stories all day. I never let my story die. If I go out of town, you'll never know that I'm out of town because I'm still posting about real estate when I'm out of town. It looks like I'm working. It looks like I never go out of town. I think that's a big hack. I see a lot of agents, especially I've had people reach out to me. They're like, how do you do it in the beginning? How do you want to get successful? And they want to talk to you on the phone and grab a quick call. And then you start following them on social media and they're out of town every weekend and they're posting about it. I do some business in Phoenix for some commercial storage units I sell. And I had a client call me from Havasu and say, hey, we kind of want to look at this house today, but we saw that you're out of town. That pisses me off more than anything. And I will never, ever again post that I'm out of town or let them know that, I have resources in Havasu that can help them whenever they need it, even if in Phoenix showing them stuff. But so like 10 deals from social media, 9 deals this year from cold calling, 11 deals from like a sign call or follow up off of that. One deal this year from door knocking, which door knocking could get into like the open house too. 12 deals from open houses. And then 17 deals from past clients / like referral / sphere of influence, which I moved to Havasu 4 years ago and I didn't know a single soul in town. And when I worked at Albertsons, I did not spend any time with any of the Albertsons associate outside of work because I was the boss and I didn't think that was the right thing to do. So when I started in real estate, I literally almost had it was like if you dropped an agent in Phoenix and moved them there that'd never been there before and just started cold. I didn't have a large group of people that were following me for years and years and years.
Yeah, yeah. And from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'd love to get into, like what your day looks like, what your week looks like, and what you're doing for your open houses. Because it's like, okay, the cold calling, the door knocking, all of this is really leveraged around the open house. Like you're using, okay,
Yep.
I got this open house activity. I'm going to use this activity to leverage to do these other
All the
activities to lead to other
activities.
business.
Yep. Yeah. The open house model that we have called a level 10 open house, that hits every single activity that will make a successful agent year after year after year. And every single thing that we do, it involves zero part of like buying leads.
Yeah, that's why I love Dustin's model, man, because he's like anti, buying leads, man. It's just it's the fundamentals, dude, and the
Yeah.
fundamentals
I
that
mean,
get
we,
results.
we do like a really, really, really little bit of Google pay-per-click. And I think off of the 100 deals I'll close this year, 6 of them were from like they came in through my site somehow. And that could have been me putting it on Facebook or them looking at it through Google, but they came in on like my Kody at apexrealestategroup.com. Those are like the hardest leads to convert. And the reason why is because they are in your they're looking on your site, they're looking on the other agent's site, they're looking on every agent's site there is. So unless you're the most aggressive, which I think I'm one of the most aggressive out there, somebody else is going to convert them before you do.
Yeah, yeah, and let's talk about that, man, because like, look, dude, there's so many right now with just the market climate, the transaction volume overall being down, the unaffordability crisis, that their
Mm-hmm.
businesses are just in the gutter. But like I always tell people, I'm like, dude, it's a choice, man. Massive action equates to massive results. And talking with Dustin, he was like, look, dude, we just had everybody double down. So instead of 10
Mm-hmm.
contacts a day, like we literally made everybody start doing 20 contacts a day. If there's half the business, half the closings, okay, we knew we had to double
You got to do
down.
double. Yeah.
So walk us through, man. So okay, like you're got this open house that you're planning on doing. How are you doing the cold calls? How are you doing? Kind of walk us through what a level 10 open house looks like.
Okay. I'll walk you straight through level 10 open house. So to start, what we do for a level 10 open house is we schedule our open house. We have an open house board in the back here. So what really works well for teams is you guys probably have a lot of listings. Most of your listings, you may have some vacant listings. Those are going to always be the best for open houses because then you don't have to get your seller out of there and do all of that. So if you got some vacant listings, we have a board of 9 different listings always at a time. And you get to schedule yourself on when you want to be there. So Monday morning, We schedule ourselves and where we're going to be like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for these open houses. And pretty consistently, I'm doing 4 to 6 open houses every single week. Sometimes I'll do double a day, like a 10 to 1 and a 1 to 4. It doesn't matter what time you're doing the open house as long as you're doing the open house. But number one is scheduling. You schedule the open house in there. Then you create some little flyer that we do. We have a marketing girl named Lauren that works for us that's amazing, that creates these flyers for us, post those on social media, and then we print those flyers out. And those are the flyers that we're going to use to door knock. So I have a listing right now, 1231 Kody. We're going to hit that super, super hard this weekend. We have open houses there from 10 to 4 a.m. Thursday through Sunday. So I'm going through and I'm training all of the new agents this week on how to cold call, how to door knock, how to post that online, and just blasting the whole process out there. So we take those little flyers, we print 2 per page. So we're not wasting a bunch of sheets of paper, and you're going to knock a minimum of 200 doors in the neighborhood, and you're just inviting the people to the open house. So taking that flyer, you start, usually we all, we'll do a group of us and we'll all print like 100 or 200. If we're doing 2 days, we'll do 100 each day per person. And we'll take these open house flyers and we'll just start knocking the neighborhood. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, my name's Kody with Apex Real Estate Group. I just listed this home down the street from you on 1231 Kody, and we'd like to give the neighbors the opportunity to choose who they live next to. Do you know anybody who's looking to move into your neighborhood?
No.
Let them answer the question, whatever they're going to say to that. Okay, well, hey, thank you very much for thinking about that. We are going to be hosting open houses there this Thursday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4. We would love for you to stop by, give me some feedback on the home, or bring a friend. All right, thank you so much. Hey, while I'm here, I wanted to let you know I'm dropping off free home evaluations to a couple of your neighbors, and I wanted to drop you one off. Does tomorrow at 2 or would 4 work better? No, I'm never going to sell my home. Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to ask you another quick question. How often do you check your bank account? You usually say like every day, once a week, whatever. Okay, how often do you check your home equity account? What's that? Well, your home equity account is the difference between what your home is worth and what you owe on your home. Most people don't realize how much equity that they have in their homes and what that equity could do for them if they sold or wanted to refinance, whatever that looks like. And I want to update you on what you have in that home equity bank account of yours. So I'm going to be dropping one off to Tim, your neighbor, tomorrow at 2. Can I drop yours off right after? Sure. The main thing is we're just trying to set that appointment, get in there, get in front of that person, and then try to build rapport with them on future buying, selling, friends, family, whatever that looks like, and build a relationship with any of those people. When I'm getting in their house, I'm not talking about the house. I'm asking them questions and working on psychographics the entire time. And that same script I just gave you for door knocking is the same thing that we use on the phones. So we minimum 200 doors door knocking, inviting all the neighbors to the open house, and then a minimum of 500 neighbors called. And we have an auto dialer that we use. We pull a list of like a mile radius around that specific house that you're calling on, and you're inviting all of those neighbors to the open house, and then you're trying to provide home equity reports for as many as you possibly can.
Hey, Joshua Smith here with a really quick sponsorship plug. Look, if you're an individual real estate agent, team leader, or real estate brokerage owner, and you are looking to take your real estate business to the next level, I highly encourage you to check out my coaching program where you're able to be coached and mentored by me for the next 12 months of your life to ensure that you are crushing your real estate goals. To learn more about my coaching, go to www.gsdmode.com/coaching, or you can go to gsdmode.com, click the coaching tab, in-depth video breakdown will walk you through exactly how my coaching program works, what's included, what it entails, what the commitment is, what the pricing is. You can sign up. There's a link to get signed up right under that video. Or if you have additional questions to make sure that the coaching program is a fit for you, there is a link below the video as well where you can schedule a 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me personally to get all of your questions answered. So again, if you're looking to take your real estate business to the next level and you want to be coached and mentored by me and are looking for hands down the most effective, but at the same time, the most affordable, where my coaching program is less than your daily Starbucks budget. So the most effective, at the same time, the most affordable coaching program in the industry. Again, go check out gsdmode.com. Yeah. And then, when I was talking with Dustin, and this is a few weeks ago when we had our conversation, but it was something like, I don't know, per 40 CMAs that you're able to do equates to a listing taken. Does that sound about right? Or what do those numbers kind of shake out for you?
My odds right now are probably, I think, like 50% of the appointments I go on sign.
Okay.
So if I get an appointment for like listing, buying, whatever that looks like, at least 50% of those are signed. As far as home evaluations or home equity reports to listings, those are more of like a long-term game. And I don't have that exact percentage on that because there's so many that I've done and then I've added them in my database and then I follow up until it turns into something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that, dude. Cause I mean, yeah, you got these people that, I mean, like you said, man, the objective is to develop that rapport, get them into your CRM, develop that relationship. Cause at some point they're going to buy and sell, right? So you're just positioning yourself to maximize your ability to become their agent, to get that business if and when they're ready to sell down the road.
Exactly. Because I want to sell a house today. I want to sell a house next week. I want to sell a house next year. And I want to sell it in 10 years. So I just want to build that relationship.
Okay. So then how long does it take you to go out there and knock? Because it sounds like, okay, you're kind of doing this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because then you got the open house events Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Exactly.
So, if you're spending one of the days hitting the doors, I mean, is that like a 4 hour, like how long does it take you to hit 200 doors?
4 to 6 hours, depending on what kind of neighborhood you're in. Havasu is pretty spread out. We have a lot of streets with some super steep driveways. And then the more people you talk to, the longer it's going to take. Wintertime, it's great because we can get out there like 9:30 in the morning and you can knock all day long. Summertime, we usually have to break it up into like 2 or 3 days and knock from 9:30 to 11:30, and then maybe you go home, shower, change, eat, come back into the office because it's so hot out there. And I mean, you're gonna get a great workout in. You're looking to get 10,000 steps in a day. Door knock every day.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And then the 500, it's like, okay, what? I mean, you use a Mojo.
Mojo triple dialer. You can dial 500 in like 4 hours, 6 hours.
Yep, hitting about 150 dials an hour. Um, okay, so then to recap that, you got the flyer that you're posting on turn that into a social media graphic. So you're posting that over your socials.
Yep.
Then you're printing the flyer, knocking 200 doors, then making sure at a minimum to have 500 conversations. So that's kind of the pre-marketing.
500. You want to make a minimum of 500 calls. I think to have
500 calls.
500
Yeah.
calls. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be, somewhere between 50 to 75 conversations.
Exactly. And then when you're on the phone, like when you're triple dialing, you're already leaving. You can set it up where, like Mojo, you can set an auto message. So if you're specifically calling for, 1231 Kibby, hey, it's Kody. I wanted to invite you to my open house this weekend at 1231 Kibby Drive. Sorry that I missed you. We're going to be there Thursday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We would love for you to drop by. Looking forward to seeing you there.
So then when you talk about like, okay, 9-year deals coming from cold calling. So this is saying, okay, these are the people that you called for the open house
Yep.
invite. Maybe they didn't show up, so they weren't like an open house
Mm-hmm.
lead, but because of
Yep.
that additional leverage activity, that led to those 9 deals. Then you had, one door knocking.
And I
Then
have more. The door knocking ones sometimes take longer and longer and longer to follow up, but like that was one door knocking that ended up being a listing, and I was able to sell her home, and then I was able to refer her to an agent in Phoenix to buy. So I got a 2-for-1 out of that.
Yep. Yep. Love it, dude. And I'm guessing too, like when you're out there doing these activities, that's more social content, creating the,
your
shorts.
your social content the entire time. Like I love to go out there, whether you're door knocking by yourself or with your team, post a little picture selfie holding up the flyer, and then post it on social and explain what you're doing, who you're inviting, where you're inviting them to, and then keep the story live like all day long. I mean, I just left Jim's house, dropping off a home evaluation to him tomorrow, and he's going to stop by my open house this weekend. He's super excited to see my new listing. Like, just pump it up as much as you can.
Yep, love it, dude. Okay, so then when it comes to so that's the pre-marketing. Now, when it comes to the open house event itself, have you found any special things to make sure that you need to do during the open house from a setup perspective, tour perspective, like just to really hone in and maximize the open house event itself?
So when it's the day of the open house, this is what I call like this is like the icing on the cake, right? You did all the pre-work. Hopefully you gave, 5 to 10 home equity reports, got some new people into your database, talked to a bunch of people, and now you're on the day of the open house. This is where I like to have a Wi-Fi box. So I got Wi-Fi everywhere I go. So my computer's set up, I'm dialed in, and I'm doing the same thing I'm doing at the open house as I can do in the office. I put as many signs out leading to the open house as I possibly can. I like to put signs as close to or in the road as possible to where like you're going to see the sign or you're going to hit the sign. So that way I can at least try to get some sign traffic in there. But if you're doing a level 10 open house, you're guaranteed to have, I mean, 3 to 7, groups of people through. If you're properly level 10 at every open house, I don't think I've ever not had 3 groups through a 3 hour open house after you level 10 it. Most important thing to have with you at your open house is going to be the sign-in forms. You want to capture people's information. If you don't have sign-in forms the day that you're doing your open house, just go home and spend time with your family.
Yeah.
The only reason you're at that open house is to put more people into your database and meet the people. So once I'm there, if I hear the car door or if I hear it pull up, I like to have like this time of year, you can have the front door open and you can hear what's going on outside. If you could set yourself up where you can see who's pulling up, that's always the best spot. But if you can't, then open that front door and listen as much as you can because I want to meet the people outside every single time. And I like to start a conversation with them before they're even in the house. So if it's a house, I got the garage doors open or something, they pull up. I'll make a comment on their license plate if they're from out of town or whatever. If they park in the driveway or the street and not inside the garage, good icebreaker question is, hey, are you going to park in the garage of your new home? Just to try to like loosen up the feeling with them and start getting them talking. Then I introduce myself and just go straight into like psychographic questions with them and get to know the people as much as I possibly can to try to build that rapport. If they're standoffish with that, then I'll start asking them house questions. Then I'll just bounce it back and forth, but I try to blend it all in. And I just stay with them the entire time they're at the open house to try to figure out if they like the home that they're in. What exactly are they looking for? Do they have a house to sell? Is the house that they have to sell in my market or in someone else's market? Who can I refer something to if it isn't in my market? And can I get enough information out of these people to go sell them another home today or this week or whatever if this home's not for them? But I want to get their name, phone number, and email, and then I put them in the database after I have a great conversation with them. And I send them a text message right away after leaving the open house saying thanking them for coming, maybe shooting a short video if I didn't build a ton of rapport with them, thanking them for coming, trying to get them to let me go show them something else. Because personally, I've held hundreds of open houses and I have yet to sell the actual open house that I've sat, but I have several times, more than I can count, taken that client. I mean, if they're like a super hot lead and they say like, I really like this house, on 4242 Bombay. All right, you want to go see it right now? And I'll lock the door of the open house. Worst thing that happens if you lock the door at the open house and you're not there on a vacant listing is somebody pulls up and wants to see it. What do? They call you. So now you just got another lead. Go take that hot buyer and go try to sell them the other home. I have had a lot of success of shutting the open house down and then coming back to it after and going and selling and writing a contract from another listing or setting an appointment for them like later that afternoon or the very next day and going and finding that person a house.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I think the at least according to NAR, it's something like less than 0.5% of homes sell through the open house. Like it's so damn rare,
Yep.
I'm curious, man, because I hear so many people that are like, oh man, I used to do open houses, but I stopped because I'm more focused on listings. My experience with them is like, if you do them right, you get a lot of listings out of them too. Like, do you find that? Has that been your experience as well?
I have 30 active listings right now, just mine.
Yep. And all you're doing is this level 10 open house strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, a level 10 open house strategy and then Facebook strategy. So cold call, door knock, social media, open houses, every single thing that I can possibly do. I just do a little bit of, a lot of it, I guess, of everything.
Yep. Okay.
I
So
don't
then,
just solely focus on one area.
yeah. Yep. Okay. So then talked about the open house itself, like making sure
Mm-hmm.
and I agree with you, dude, like the sole purpose and activity exists is to generate a lead. So it's like, okay, being extremely intentional on what do I need to do to capture their contact information,
Yep.
try to develop that rapport, set the appointment right then and there. Then if he can't, now we got post open house follow up. what does that look like now post open house? I mean, you talked about the text message, immediate text message, video text message, but then after that, put them in your CRM. Like, how long are you nurturing them?
Mhm.
What is the?
So we use Brivity. So every single person that goes into my Brivity gets a market update. So a Lake Havasu City market report once every 2 weeks. I title all of the market reports that go in there, Josh, check out what's going on in the Lake Havasu City market. So you're going to get that exact headline every single 2 weeks. And hopefully you open that every single time that you get it. The cool thing about once you open that market update that we send out, you can click on there. It shows like some what's going on in the Havasu market, how many active listings, how many went pending, average days on market, and then it shows some listings. And then it also has a button on there that says, see what my home's worth. And I get a lot of people that are clicking on that button, see what my home's worth, that have homes here and everywhere else around the country. And it notifies me every single time that they do that. So then that's another way for me to reach out to them. So I'm sending them an email every 2 weeks with a market report. I'm putting every single person that goes into my database on a listing alert. And I try to figure out what they're looking for from building that report at the open house. And then I can put them on like a little bit of a detailed listing report. But if somebody tells me that they're not going to spend more than 500,000, I'm probably putting their like criteria up to like 750. I mean, I never ever go, the 500, and I only put you to 500. That's it, because a lot of people spend way more than they say that they're going to spend. So everyone's on a daily listing alert. Everyone's on a 2 week market report, and then I put them on like some kind of check-in based on how, are they a hot lead? Are they a nurture? If they're a hot lead, they're at minimum I'm reaching out to them every single 7 days. If they're super hot and you meet them at an open house, sometimes they're on like a 3 day, and you're just call, text, email every 3 days to try to get them to go schedule an appointment, basically to go, buy a house, get that buyer broker signed and go take them out and show them some homes.
So then, oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just like, you have to just kind of feel it out, and everybody's different. You might meet somebody that's not ready for quite some time and you're putting them on a 14 or a 21 day or a 28 day. The one thing I like to do when I'm putting those on, everyone's on a reoccurring task, is you got to put it in 7 day increments. So that way you're not, coming in on Monday morning and you had 100 follow-ups that you're supposed to do on Sunday that you didn't get done or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to recap, dude, okay, so it's almost a non-existent thing where you don't get at least 3 leads per open house.
Yep.
So then if you're doing 4 at a minimum per week, we're talking at least 12 leads at an absolute minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Per week that you're doing these. And then some weeks, like you said, you're doubling down. So you might be doing 6 or 8, not just the 4.
Yep.
Then what do you do? Because we hear all the crap that, and I get it. These are valid questions that people have, but it's like, man, I get so many people that come through my open house that are already working with an agent, that already, like what do you do in those situations?
I mean, are they already working with an agent or are they not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they have a contract signed with somebody else, then, and they tell me who that person is, then I don't press at all. If they don't tell me who that person is, then I'm going to try to build as much possible rapport as I can with them. Either way, they're at my open house. I'm going to have a conversation with them. But if they have told me that, like, I got a buyer broker and I'm working with Josh. Oh, Josh is so great. He's a great guy. You guys picked a really good agent. That's what I'll say about anybody, whether I know them or not. I'm never, ever going to trash anyone. And I think that looks the best when you say something like that. But ask them questions and build them rapport. They walked into your open house. So get personal with these people and try to build some rapport. So that way, if Josh messes up, maybe they will call you. Because I have had people in the past before, all these laws and stuff, where they call me because they met me in an open house. They're like, oh, my agent's not in, and the guy I was working with, like, he's not really ever available. Can we work with you? I'd love that. Sure, let's go. So there's going to be opportunities. There's always going to be opportunities, whether before everything happened or now, of people wanting to work with people who are going to work the hardest for them.
Hey, Joshua Smith here with another quick sponsorship plug. Hey, I'm not sure if you heard the recent news, but I recently made the decision to partner with eXp for my real estate business so I can take my real estate business nationally and globally. And if you're interested in learning about what a partnership together could look like and how we can grow and expand and crush it together at hitting our real estate goals, if you'd like to schedule a 100% confidential, 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me to again discover what this partnership could look like, how you get 100% free access to all of my coaching, training, mentorship, support, and how we can go out there and crush it together, go to www.gsdmode.com/partner. And again, this is just a discovery call where we can learn and go through and unpack what a possible partnership could look like together at eXp. And I hope to talk to you soon. Yeah. Okay. Earlier you said that you were really trying to focus on the psychographics.
Mm-hmm.
For those that are maybe watching or listening to this that aren't really familiar with what that means, can you kind of break down? I mean, you've got an amazing team leader, amazing trainers, awesome at psychology and marketing, and like,
Yeah.
can you just unpack a little bit of like what you mean and how you do that?
So I just ask them as many questions as I possibly can to get to know them. So I really like the license plate question. When they pull up with a California license plate or they pull up with a Minnesota or whatever. I mean, me and you are both in snowbird markets, right? So this time of year, you're going to have people that are from, colder climates. So when they pull up, hey, down here in Arizona to thaw out, how long are you guys in town for? And then wives typically, if you got a husband and wife that walks into your open house, wives typically really like to talk about their kids if they have kids. So I can build a connection with the wife by asking them about their kids. What do their kids do? Really, wow, you guys have like really successful children. That's awesome. And then the husband usually likes to talk about work or business if they're a business owner. Um, Something that you can connect with people on like a psychographic / real estate business level. I meet a lot of people at open houses that have real estate investments. So you start talking to them about real estate investments, and if they're really into it, the husband and wife really like to talk about real estate investments. And then I just act like I don't know a ton, and I start asking them when they got into it, how they got into it, why they got into it, and you can build a relationship off of that. But I go as deep as I possibly can into the kids, the family, where they live, who lives with them. If they walk into the open house on like a Sunday or with some kind of sports team jersey or shirt or whatever on, go a little bit deep with the sports team. Just talk about, ask them questions and talk as much as possible, not about real estate as you possibly can with them. That'll build the relationship with these people that other agents aren't. And a lot of agents, I think, have a lot of like a real transactional relationship with people. And if you build a stronger personal connection with them, that will win long term, short term. It will win the people over and they want to work with you just by asking them questions. And don't talk about yourself at all. If someone asks you, how long you living in Phoenix? I've been here 15 years. How long have you guys been in town for? Just spin it right back. Answer the question quick and spin it right back onto them no matter what they ask you. I really like when I get to the end of a transaction and you're at the closing day and you meet them over there, you hand them their keys, you give them their closing gift, you take their picture, and they kind of like look at you and they're like, we never really asked, like, how long have you been doing this, or how long have you been in Havasu? And they don't know anything about you. And I love that. I want to know as much as possible about them, and I don't want them to know anything about me. I'll share if they ask me a question. I'm not like being some weirdo that doesn't talk, but it's not about me. It's about them. And I keep the spotlight on them the entire transaction, the entire time at the open house as much as possible.
Yep. Love it, dude. Powerful stuff, man. So then, okay. So because I mean, you got all this going on. Plus, dude, like you got to close these 100 deals. Right? So, like what does this look like from an hour? Like what does a typical week look like for you doing this kind of volume, this many
Mm-hmm.
activities? I mean, is this like a 100-hour work week? Is this like a 40, 50-hour work week? Like, what does this look like?
Probably 70 hours on average, minimum 70. I answer my phone until I fall asleep, and I start responding the second that I wake up. So how I start my day, Monday through Friday, I wake up at 4:20 and I get ready to go to the gym. I'm at the gym by 5 o'clock, get my CrossFit workout in, back home, get ready to go into the office. I'm in the office every day before 7 o'clock or right at 7 o'clock. Get in the office. And that's where I already have my day kind of lined out. I write down my day every single day. Anything that I didn't finish the day before goes on today's list now. If it wasn't like a super priority, I make sure that I get things done. But sometimes things roll over into the next day, and I just start hitting that list. I have a full-time partner that he shows up no later than like 7:30 in the office. Most of the time, he's in the office at 7 a.m. with me, rocking with me, and we start the daily tasks. So we hit anything that needs done. We start lead generating after 8 o'clock, but we have a team meeting at 8:30. So we'll start lead generating at 8, and that's like outbound calling. I'll start emailing, texting, doing any other form of communication before 8 o'clock. If you called me at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, because I go to bed by like 9:30, I'll respond to you when I wake up at 4:30. So I will text back, email back, whatever. If you woke up, I'm sorry, but you text me when I was sleeping, so now I'm texting you when you're sleeping. It's all good. Then we lead generate every single day, minimum of 2 hours on like new lead generation. I try to block it for 10 to noon. Sometimes things get in the way of that, and I am doing other things like showing or listing appointments, but I make sure that I am lead generating after that, and I just move that around. But a minimum of 2 hours of lead generation every single day, whether that is always one of us is always focusing on new business and follow up at the same time. So I have 3,000 people in my database, and I'm making sure that I'm hitting all my check-ins and call, text, email, all of them when they should be. Every single Tuesday, we update all of our sellers on our listing recaps or 7-day market activity updates. So we're providing what's going on in the market exactly with their price point, how many listings are active, how many listings went pending, how many sold. And then in that email, we put, if it's been on the market for a while, we haven't done a price reduction, we're going to put a price recommendation in there. And then I will call that client either later that day or Wednesday, the following day, give them a chance to look at that and see if we can get those price reductions in there, because listings are very powerful right now. But there's some things that have been sitting on the market, so we want to make sure that we're getting those price reduced properly. On Tuesdays, when we're going to start, usually we would like Mojo cold call for the open house on Tuesdays. And then on Wednesdays is when we hit the streets and we door knock. So that'll be a lot of lead generation door knocking. When you're knocking those doors, it's super easy to hit your 20 connects, because you're going to talk to at least 20 people when you're out there. If you're knocking 200 doors, that's only 10% of the people answering the door. And then Thursdays, I like to do an open house from 10 a.m. to 1. Sometimes I'll back that up with another 1 to 4 o'clock after. But like I said, I have like a Verizon Wi-Fi box. I bring that every single place I go. So I have Wi-Fi everywhere I go. So I'm not down anywhere. I never want to be without, like, I never want to go to a dead open house where there's nobody coming and I can't work. Fridays they'll do open houses, Saturdays they'll do open houses, and then Sundays they'll do open houses. I'm always outbound lead generation Monday through Friday, a little bit on Saturday, and then on Sundays, I try to open house 10 to 1. And then the rest of the day, I will answer as many calls, texts, or emails, but I try not to do a lot of outbound on Sundays and spend time with the family.
Yep. Love it, dude. So, okay. So, and this is going to maybe sound like a silly question, but those that I see just getting ripped apart right now are just winging it. They have no intentional plan. So okay, it sounds to me like every single day is structured. Like know exactly when you get in the office, what you need to do to win every single day. You've got an intentional plan with precision. Like there is no winging it going on in your world.
No, I don't like winging it. I like to know, even if I plan a trip, or if I'm not the one that plans the trip, I'm that guy that's like, all right, where are we parking when we get there? And if you can't tell me, usually I'll take over the whole trip right then, and I will plan it all out, because I want to know exactly where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be there, what I got to do. I don't like winging it.
Yeah. I'm curious, dude, with your experience that you had at Albertsons and the management experience that you had, were there any kind of learning lessons there, skills that you learned there that you have found that have translated really well over this industry, that have served and supported you, with having so much success so early on in your real estate business?
Mm-hmm. I think over there, I learned how to communicate with people effectively. I had 140 people that worked directly underneath me. I had 20,000 customers a week that were in and out of, just the store that I left. I worked at busier stores than that too. And I was able to learn how to communicate effectively with leading a team. And then I was able to communicate effectively with anybody out there that would come in and shop at the store. So Albertsons really did a lot for me, teaching me how to manage, lead, and communicate people, that then just directly kind of transferred over into the real estate business. And then I think the best thing, I don't know if it was just like my upbringing, I started working with my dad when I was like 12 years old, and I just worked really hard and wanted to make as much money as I could. And then when I was old enough to get a job, I was 16, and I worked, I was trying to get them to make me like 40 hours a week. I just wanted to work. So the coolest thing about leaving what I was doing, I had a lot of responsibility over there, to a lot of other people. And then when I first started real estate, I didn't have an assistant. It was just me. So all I had to do was carry myself. And I really enjoy being able to just put your head down and just go. That's what I like about any type of work, especially when you transition careers, jobs, whatever. When I would transfer from store to store, I worked at like 10 different Albertsons. Every time you got to a new store, my favorite part was like your first 2 months. You didn't know any of the associates. You didn't know any of those customers that were like, they got to know your name for the wrong reason. So you didn't get stopped by anybody. And you could work the hardest for the, like, when you first start at something, because nobody knew you. So just being able to put your head down and go. And that's what I did. I just blindly just did every single thing. And I still do. Whatever Dustin says works, I just go before I know, every single time.
Yep. Love it, dude. All right. So this next question is going to be twofold, because look, man, we get a lot of, agents watching, listening to this podcast, but we also get a lot of team leaders. So, you talked about joining the team and how amazing the culture was. And so the first part of this is, okay, for those that are, maybe they're not in your market and they're unable to come join you guys with your team.
Yep.
But they're maybe looking at joining a team environment. Just like all things, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of terrible.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
would you, with knowing what you know now and being aligned with such an amazing team, like what tips and recommendations, like if I were to reach out to you looking to join a team, I was like, hey, dude, like, what should I look for to know that this is a good team?
I would like, so you can creep on anybody now with like looking at their social media, right? And kind of trying to figure out who exactly those people are, but you can only share what you want to share on there too. So I would look at someone's social media and look at what they're doing on there and see if you want to be like that person, and then go and actually go into like a team meeting or meet that person for lunch or whatever it looks like, and pick someone that you want to follow, that you want to be like. But when you want to be where they're at, you need to do everything that they are doing and everything that they're not doing. And I think a lot of people see, and maybe they even hear, like, I mean, we see it like on the team here. So you want to be successful at open houses. Kody's had a lot of success with open houses. So I want to be like him. Now I'm going to do level 10 open houses, but then they don't knock any of the doors. And then they wonder, why did my open house not work out? Because you didn't do every single step that that other person's doing. So you need to go find someone, find a mentor that is doing the things or is where you want to be. So find a mentor that is where you want to be. And then you have to be willing to do every single thing that that person's doing. What you see them doing in the office, what they're doing when they're not in the office, you got to do what they're doing every step of the way, and you have to be willing to do that. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is they want to be exactly like so and so, but they try to do just 75% of what that person's doing, and then they're wondering why they're only getting 10% of the results.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So the flip side of this question is, all right, if we got a team leader, or a brokerage owner that's wanting to build an amazing team environment, culture, from being a teammate on an amazing team with an amazing culture, like what advice would you give to them to make it a great experience for their agents, like you've been able to have with where you're currently at?
As a team leader, what does a team leader need to do?
Yeah.
I think a team leader needs to be the hardest or one of the hardest people working in the office. I think you see a lot of people out there. They want to, like, what are most people get into real estate for? I want to make a lot of money and not work a lot. So the same thing, I see people that want to start teams. I want to start a team because I want to have more time, but I want to make more money. Those two things clash over and over and over again. The team leader should be showing up to the office almost the earliest or the earliest every single day and should be outworking every single agent to provide value to the agents that are on that team. And then you really have to uphold standards. So whatever your standards are, just make sure that you're upholding your standards and you're not letting one person get away with what is not acceptable for other people. So the standards on our team are show up to the team meeting every single day, Monday through Friday at 8:30. Hit your 20 connects every single week. If you have under 5 pending, if you have over 5 pending, you can hit 10 and it's still acceptable. I've hit over 20 every single week, every single day for over 2 years straight. And that is how I've gotten this success. It wouldn't be possible without that. And don't be an asshole. So as long as you can hit those 3 standards right there and you have similar values as the people on the team, you'll fit in great here. But I think there's different teams and it works different for everybody. But I think one of the most important parts is that team leader really just needs to be the hardest worker on that team. And I think you see some team leaders out there that are trying to do it for the wrong reasons. They want to start a team and they want to lead a team to be on vacation more or work less. And that's not the reason that you should start a team. You should start a team to change other people's lives that want to join your team and your organization. And you should be working harder than those people so that everyone's lives are being changed.
Yep. Yep. Love it, dude. Yeah. And you know, even my conversation with Dustin, he's like, okay, maybe his 20 connects a day aren't with buyers and sellers anymore, but he's like, you damn right they're going to be with investors or,
100%.
whatever that like my agents are still seeing me do that, right? And, as it's like, okay, like, dude, I haven't worked with a buyer seller in over 10 years running my real estate team and real estate business, but there's
Yep.
not a day that goes on where I'm not, like with agent recruits, stack meetings with agent recruits and having those conversations and in the office, in the trenches,
I think it's really powerful where we're at here, and it sounds like where you're at too. You're also, when you're on this team, you're not competing with the team leader. So I'm not going up against Dustin on a listing appointment or on a buyer broker appointment, whatever, buyer consultation, whatever you want to call that. It's not me versus him on anything because he's not actively selling. Where I think some other teams too the team leaders doing all this great business because they're the one getting all the calls and then cherry picking all the great deals. That makes it difficult, I think, to run a team also.
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah. And that's my commitment to my agents too. Just like with Dustin, it's like, hey, dude, if my mom's buying a house, she's going with one of you guys.
Yeah.
100%, dude.
Exactly. Not that I wouldn't beat him if I was up against him, but
I love it, dude. I love it, man. Hey, Joshua Smith here with another real quick sponsorship plug. Look, if you are looking for an extremely effective website for branding, marketing, lead gen, as well as an extremely effective, robust CRM to help you maximize on your lead conversion and ensure that you are keeping all of your contacts, all of your business together, I highly encourage you to check out the system that I have that I utilize, Perfect Storm. You can learn more and watch a full in-depth video demo about how this platform works at gsdmode.com. You'll see a demo right on there on Perfect Storm to click on that, check out that demo. Again, this is the platform that I have that I utilize that's allowed me and my team to become one of the top real estate teams in the country and on the planet. And I highly encourage you to check it out. And so then, and I know you kind of already answered this earlier, but I want to hit on this again. Okay, how do you balance? Because dude, when you're popping, let's just call it 8 deals or so average a month. Plus you've got 30 active listings. Plus you've got so many clients in the pipeline. Plus then you got all these KPIs, your 20 contacts that you got to hit Monday through Friday with these open houses. How do you keep all of that together without, because most people have the roller coaster, right? Where the pipeline gets busy, they stop the KPIs. Like, what do you do to ensure that you're hitting those KPIs and your foot doesn't get off that accelerator?
So in where I'm at now, I wouldn't be able to do this without my partner, Richie. So he helps me stay dialed. We're both going on buyer appointments. We're both going on seller appointments. We both do the exact same things at different times. But we're very, very structured. So I wouldn't have taken an appointment today at 10 a.m. because I have this call with you. So I think some people, they react every single time that their phone rings in whatever way the person on the other end of the phone wants them to react. So I'm very structured on, and it's got to be really, really important for me to not get those 2 hours of lead generation done in the morning. Like, I mean, if you call me and you want to go see a house at 10 a.m. and that's when my lead gen time starts on my calendar, I'm not telling the client that my lead gen time starts at 10 a.m. and I can't meet you because I'm going to be calling other people. I say, hey, I already have an appointment at 10. Can we do 12:30? No, that doesn't work for me. Can we do 1:30? Yeah, I can make that work. 1:30 works for me. And just getting a different time and sliding these people around and then scheduling them properly. But when you have an appointment set, like, it doesn't matter what the appointment's for. If you have the appointment set to be on a podcast or lead generate or go knock doors, when your phone rings, don't immediately go run and try to like create a fire where now you're not doing what you promised to yourself and you're putting something else in front of that. I don't show up to home inspections. I like I mean, it would be like a 1% chance that I'm at a home inspection. I don't think that there's any reason that agents should run all around town to go to a home inspection, or when the buyer wants to go measure, for a fourth time for their bedroom set. Like, really trying to limit the amount of times that you're going back to the house once it's under contract can alleviate as much pressure as possible. I think one of the other things that, like, around the home inspection that I've learned that works really, really well, when you get your home inspection on a Tuesday, you get the report on Tuesday at 4 o'clock, it comes into your client's email and they call you right away at 4:30 and like, did you see the home inspection yet? Hey, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I could be doing nothing. I could have the whole rest of the evening planned, or not planned. They'd be completely wide open and they want to talk to me about the home inspection. Hey, I'm walking into a meeting right now. I did see that email come through. Haven't had a time to look at it yet. Can we talk tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.? And getting, like, waiting a day for them to have a conversation about that can alleviate a lot of the issues that you could have if you talk to them about those high pressure situations that same day. They sleep on it. They call their brother, they call their uncle, their mom, their dad, whatever. And most of the things that they thought were these like big red alerts are no longer red alerts, but really, really staying structured on what you got to do and when you have to do it. And then if there's important things that you have to do, sometimes you got to cancel, the dinner that you had planned or whatever. If you got to stay in the office till 9 o'clock at night to get the shit done you need to get done, get it done.
Yep. Yep. Love it, dude. So then at what point did it make sense for you to bring on your assistant? Because now you have some additional support.
Yeah.
But at what point did it make sense to bring that person on for you?
So first year I started August 1st. So August 1st to January 1st. So my first 4 months of real estate, I sold 8 deals for 4.3 million. The following year, I was fully on my own. I did 62 units for 27.5 million in volume. That's when I was over the 50 deal threshold. And if you do over 50 deals on the team, you can hire an assistant. So that's when I started looking for an assistant. So I recruited Richie, who was he was an assistant manager for me at Albertsons, moved up a couple more times. And then when I left, he'd moved around and he'd been the assistant store manager. He got to the second highest role before he left Albertsons and came and worked for me. So I recruited him and I put him through real estate school, got him to pass the test. And then I started him on everything to get him all dialed in and work for me. But I had to hit those 50 deals on my own to know what it looked like to hire a second person. And after having him, I was able to close 62 deals. Now this year, it looks like with everything I have going, I'm going to end right between like 195 and 200 with I sell a lot of stuff in Lake Havasu, and then I have some commercial storage units that I sell in Phoenix. So with a partner, I can now do that much more from having us both double down on the same activities that I'm holding myself to. I'm making 20 connects every single day. So is he. And then in addition to that, he gets to work after hours and on the weekends on his own real estate business as well.
Yep. No, I love that, dude. Love that, man. So then, well, I got one last question for you. But before we jump into that question, for anybody that's watching or listening to this, I mean, we're all real estate agents here. So maybe they have somebody they know that's looking to buy or sell in your market because you're in Lake Havasu, Arizona. Or
Yep.
man, if they just want to continue following you on this amazing success journey, like where's the best place and or places to, send you a referral and or to be able to follow you at?
Yeah, the best place to follow would be Instagram or Facebook, KODYWEITZEL. And on Instagram, it's KODY_WEITZEL. So either Facebook or Instagram, super active on there. And then if you want to reach out to me at my cell, 602-620-2749. And I'm happy to, jump on a call with anybody and answer any questions on what you think you should do if you're looking to make a career change or you want to level up your real estate business and start hopping on some level 10 open houses so we can
Yeah.
all crush 2025.
Yep. I love it, dude. Okay. I lied to you. I got two questions for you. So,
All right.
all right. So, dude, you've created so much success in such a short period of time. So, this may be a hard question to answer or not, but like, where do you see this going long term? I mean, do you have like a 10-year vision? Like, where do you see yourself long term in this industry?
Long term, like a 10-year goal, I really haven't put anything up like 10 years. I mean, 2025 goals for me are going to be to sell 100 just single family homes. So I'm going to hit like almost 100 this year with commercial, vacant land, and residential in Lake Havasu. But next year, my goal is just 100 single family homes. And how I'm going to do that, this is my exact plan for next year and how to succeed. 20 connects every single day, 6 level 10 open houses a week between me and my assistant, minimum. 1 social media post Monday through Friday about real estate, 2 hours of the auto dialer every single week, inviting to the open house and getting home equity reports, minimum of 200 doors knocked every single week, 1 email to my database Monday through Friday. And then I need to do better personally on videos of me on my Instagram stories and trying to just be a little bit more active on like Instagram story stuff. I think that's my 2025 business plan on how to close 100 single family homes and just keep building it from there. But this year I'm going to end at like 50, it looks like 57, 58 million in personal volume. So I would really like to ramp that up next year to 100 million in closed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it, dude. Like with the plan for 2025. I mean, it's the plan that you're doing now. A couple little tiny
Yep.
tweaks, but it's just building that
Mm-hmm.
momentum. And there's nothing more powerful than compounding momentum, man.
Yep. Yeah. My spider web, my sphere is getting bigger and bigger from just like clients that I'm currently working with or have worked with in the past starting to talk about me and refer me business. And I can't control that, but the more outbound reach that I'm doing is helping my business in all areas, whether it's brand new leads or leads that were introduced to me by somebody else.
Yeah, dude. Because by the time you hit like that 5-year mark, you'll be doing 50, 60 units a year of just, hey, Kody, we're ready to buy or sell.
Referral.
Come list me. Right? It's just
Yeah.
that gold starts to compound over time, man. And again, this might be a hard question to answer just because you've only been doing this for a couple years. But I always end the podcast with asking, okay, if Kody today could go back and have a conversation with your younger self when you first entered this industry, with knowing everything you know now today, and give
Mm-hmm.
yourself a couple pieces of advice that you feel would have helped impact your success trajectory that you're on, knowing everything you know now today, what would that advice look like?
In the beginning, what I didn't do that I'm doing now is the only thing. I mean, I'm still doing the cold calls, the door knocks, the open houses, was to be more active on social media faster. I think social media is every single person's free CRM, and it is very, very powerful. My partner this year, 7 deals. He's closed 15. He's going to end the year with 15 closed in his very first year in real estate, working like 60 hours a week for me. These are 15 of his own deals. 7 of them came from social media.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Hell
I
yeah.
think super, super powerful. And then as far as like I really don't 10-year goals tough. I just want to keep building my own business and hopefully just keep building cool businesses with Dustin Runyon.
Yep. Nah, I love it, dude. Awesome stuff. And Kody, man, I know how busy you are, and the fact that you were able to take time out of your busy day to be here with us, man, has been an honor and it's been a lot of fun, my friend.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. Those watching, listening, as always, we truly appreciate you, truly appreciate your support. Keep crushing it, keep kicking ass, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Heck yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Joshua Smith here, and I truly hope that you got a lot of value out of this GSD Mode podcast. As always, information without implementation is the start of delusion. Information is not power. Information only becomes power when you take the information that you learn, implement it, take massive action on it. That gives you the power to go out there and create that life that you know you want and deserve. So make sure that you take those nuggets that you learned here today, implement those, and take massive action on those things. And just a quick reminder, I highly encourage you to check out gsdmode.com for more additional free resources, more additional free training. And look, I really encourage you to schedule a call with me where we can talk about and discuss what a potential partnership could look like. I encourage you to be open-minded. That does not hurt to just check out what this opportunity looks like. Everything I do is zero pressure. I'm just going to walk you through what we're doing, what we have to offer, all the amazing coaching support that you have full access to for free, and how we can help you take your business to the next level. If you think it's a fit for you, great. If not, that's okay too. We can still be friends. I promise you, I'm not going to hard sell you, not going to push you, none of that BS. You don't have to worry about any of that. This is just an opportunity where we might be able to go out there and do something big together. I'm a big believer that we can do more together than we can apart. So I encourage you to go to gsdmode.com/partner, where you and I can jump on a 30-minute Zoom call together. Again, zero pressure, but we can jump on a 30-minute Zoom call together and just walk you through what this opportunity can look like, what a partnership could look like, answer any questions that you have, give you all the information that you need to make your best informed decision. So if you want to further discuss and explore what a partnership could look like with me at EXP, go to www.gsdmode.com/partner. Thank you again for watching and listening and all your support. Keep crushing it, keep kicking ass, and I will see you next time. Peace.